Saint Anger. An album that, just by saying its name to most metal fans, would put an image in their head of why. And this is bad. This is terrible. But let's back up a little bit. So after Garage Inc., after all the load and reload stuff, there began a period in Metallica where they really needed some help. Some of you have probably seen the Some Kind of Monster documentary, which goes behind the scenes during the time that Saint Anger was being created and all of the things that went on. Jason Newsted left the band due to creative differences. He felt that Metallica as a band, really, from what I gather, he really didn't think that it was worth it anymore, at the fact that they could not work out their problems together and that they needed, so that they required somebody to come in, a therapist, to have them talk it out. And that he felt that the band was incompetent to the fact that they could not resolve this issue themselves. So during this time, during the time that Saint Anger was being formed, they were looking for a new bassist. They would eventually hire Robert Trujillo of Suicidal Tendencies fame. And I think that the reason why a lot of people need to realize that, yes, Saint Anger really isn't that great of an album. I'm not disputing that at all. Production-wise, I think that Saint Anger is a nightmare. I mean, I don't even need to mention Lars Ulrich and his drumming in this. I don't even need to mention the snare drum, even though I just did. Drop C tuning, lack of guitar solos. You'd honestly think of, what are you doing here? I mean, why are you doing this? I mean, it really does sound very chaotic, but at the same time, you have to realize this is a reflection of the chaos that was happening within the band during the production of this album. The fact that Saint Anger is a very lackluster album is a reflection of how the band was functioning at the time. The band was falling apart. James and Lars began to have fighting. They began fighting with each other on camera in the documentary. And Kirk's sitting over here on the sidelines going, you know, guys, we shouldn't be fighting. If we want to fight, we should take it out on our instruments. We should write great music. And for that, I give Kirk Hammett thumbs up. If you want to, it's like he said in the documentary, if you want to hammer it out on the instruments in the studio. And you know what? Sometimes doing that and releasing your anger, venting on an instrument, you can write some pretty creative stuff. I've done it. It's worked wonders. Saint Anger is a reflection of the band desperately trying to claw its way back to sanity. Personally, Saint Anger, it's a bad album. But then again, you have to look at the environment that the band was in at the time. Saint Anger, it's justified, despite what a lot of people may believe. And if you haven't seen the Some Kind of Monster documentary, I recommend watching it. It's a really good watch. And it answers a lot of questions that I initially had when I first heard Saint Anger about, well, why does this not sound like Metallica? Why does this sound dated to the time period that it was produced in? At one point in the Some Kind of Monster documentary, Kirk Hammett mentions that he doesn't want the album to sound dated to this time period. And that's exactly what the album became. So from watching that documentary at that time, the only person in the band who had any common sense was Kirk. And for that, I respect Kirk Hammett. Not only as a guitarist, but as an exceptional human being. If I had to give Saint Anger a grade, I'd give it a 4 out of 10. You can listen to it. I mean, it's not It's not like some other recent projects that Metallica has been involved with that are damn near unlistenable. But, there are people who do enjoy this album, and people who will follow Metallica to the gates of hell and back. And for that, you have my respect. But to me, St. Anger's just a bad album. It's 4 out of 10 from me. Danny here from Metal Couch, signing off.